for the story? Good. Well, let me get you a synopsis. Back to the beginning. Unbeknownst to most in the universes, a great and powerful evil is preparing to descend on the realms. A collection of artifacts, a ceremony of rituals, a dapper monologue. You know, a great evil. A great evil I cannot go into detail about, out of respect for the story, and you, the audience. I can tell you that someone, somewhere, has been researching this problem for quite some time, and finding that these great and evil plans are forthright and imminent, has devised a plan of their own to collect a group of heroes in order to protect the multiverse. Now, I cannot confirm that the heroes that they collect were the original heroes that they intended to collect. But these things go that way. No one gets their fantasy adventurer roster 100% on the draft. Ooh. It appears that the narrator is unreliable or has multiple personalities. And I think that's all I'm going to give you. Let's start at the beginning. Once upon a time, so this is a GM roundtable experiment. What we are going to be doing is telling an epic story over 7 parts. This is part 1. And it is the introductions of the characters that we will be playing when we are not storytelling.
Wrestle Realm.
Long ago, the gods got together and decided that they wanted a great little place for all of their strongest followers to be able to do battle for their gods. So, over a millennia ago, they created Wrestle Realm. We open upon a locker room. Dylan, you want to go over a little bit of your pre-bout ritual?
Sure. The giant bugbear who is Raoul Levesque III. Sits cross-legged in the middle of his locker room, meditating. And just doing these deep breathing, like calm and then very intense, and then calm and very intense. He stands up, he does some limbering up, just some forward front folds. He starts bending the arms a little bit. He has a trainer there. He starts practicing some, interlocking, just kind of getting his arms in the right place. It's a nice, overall warm up.
You hear muffled cheers and distant sounds of combat as you sit alone in your locker room preparing for tonight's match. Perhaps probably the most important of your career thus far. You are currently ranked 5th out of hundreds of fighters. And this is basically your audition match. If you win this one, you'll be in line to fight the champion next week. Or next 10-day.
Oh, yeah.
A small PA comes up and goes, Mr. Raoul, are you ready for your bout?
We stay ready. Let's go.
Okay, and we'll fade back as we pan out upon the grandest WWE Super Slam arena you could imagine. A giant wrestling ring sits in the middle of an arena that seems to span off impossibly large. A four giant screens rotate, showing the action within the ring. Um, them clearing out the unconscious body of the last fighter to lose. Um, but because you're fifth, um, the announcer comes overhead. Welcome to Wrestle Round CXXVII. The crowd explodes, and suddenly there's a thundering step, step. But you notice it's not just the entrance, the beginning to Into the Hills um, by Iron Maiden starts to play, and you notice that the shaking of the earth is in time with the intro to the song. As you hear a roar, a 16-foot tall hill giant bursts into the alleyway, cheering. He goes to high five a goblin and just smacks him clear across the arena and just lumbers his way into the ring. Our first fighter, Hercos the Hill Giant, standing at 16 feet, 4,500 pounds, fourth in line for the championship. And the crowd goes wild as the undefeated fighter that you have been preparing to go up against just steps over all of the ropes into the ring. What is Raul's walkout music?
Oh, Raul comes out to something almost like a just an acoustic guitar, at first, just as he the lights, are dark, and he one light comes up through the middle as you hear the guitar start, and he slowly steps into the light, head down, and then brings his eyes up, and that's when you hear a on the guitar. The lights come up. He stands like this. He starts walking down the aisle, but just very, kind of intense like this. As the music starts to pick up pace, he starts to kind of pick up his pace, and he starts sprinting towards the ring. He slides in through the bottom rope and jumps up.
Give me a performance check.
Can do. Got my
First roll of the game.
Let's get it. You're not rolling. Thank you. 12 plus a 1. 13.
You demolished the Hill Giants performance score. So upon your entrance, the crowd goes nuts. The announcer, and coming in at hold up, I have your stats here. One sec. At 6'8" weighing 290 pounds, Raul Levesque the third. The the crowd loves you. You're technically the underdog, but you've been killing it since your debut. There's fans holding pictures of you, banners. You're certainly the fan favorite to win tonight.
Right.
Um, a halfling appears in the middle of the ring on a stool as the microphone is lowered, and he goes, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want a clean fight tonight, and we're gonna real quick before we roll initiative." Um, oh, okay, still there. So I have come up with some nifty wrestling mechanics uh, to go through this. Combat's going to run just the same. It's a no holds bar fight. So you can use really whatever you want. Your realm's rules of no killing still apply. Um, but the goal isn't just to knock your person unconscious, though you can absolutely go about that way. The quickest way to end the match is going to be to win 3 athletic checks in a row, uh, contested with your opponent. The first one would be to pick your opponent. The second, to take them down, and then once you've passed the first two, The third one the opponent will make with disadvantage as they are on their back and you are trying to pin them. Something
Good
else.
job, man.
Every 25% of your opponent's health that you take down, you get a bonus +2 to your athletics rolls. I'll just lower theirs by 2 to make the math easier for you. Something else you can do is twice this match, you can use a bonus action to appeal to the crowd. You'll make either a performance check or a athletics check, which would just basically be like you flexing to the crowd or something. And if you pass the DC set, you get to roll a 1d4 and you'll get a boon, and I'll explain how some of those go. One of which you'll get a chair, one of which the crowd just starts like unanimously chanting your name, and you get a 1d12 of bardic inspiration to use. The other one is a table that you can slam someone through, which I will explain how that'll help. And the next is someone can toss you an ale, and if you chug it, you get 2d6 temporary hit points.
Sweet. With it.
So with that, the announcer has you shake gloves, and let's roll some initiative.
Let's do it. Yeah. Rolling rolls here. 1d20 plus 3. Looks like I got a 5.
Lo and behold, he beat you by 1. So the hill giant is going to come out. He goes first, and he's just gonna take a swing at you. That I assume that a 27 hits.
Yeah, that'll hit. Just barely, but yeah.
That'll be 18 damage.
18 damage, heard.
And he'll take one more swipe at you. That's gonna be a 28 to hit.
Yep.
But that one's only 15 damage.
18, 15, minus 33, heard. Got it.
Alrighty, and it's your turn.
Right, so one more time, just it's basically a normal fight, except there are extra things that I can do, right?
Yeah, so you can, if you totally just want to beat the living crap out of this dude and knock him unconscious, that's absolutely a way to win this. Otherwise, you just have to beat them on 3 contested athletics checks in a row. As you make them weaker, it gets easier. And then there's the appeal to the crowd mechanic.
Sweet. Okay, cool. Yeah. We're just gonna go ahead and go in. I got slapped around a little bit, and just kind of lets out a scream, ah! and just goes and tries to tackle this hill giant. He's gonna run. He's gonna make his first attack action. Is going to be a grapple.
Okay, so let's do that contested athletics check.
20 plus 10. 22.
That'll do it. You have successfully gotten a hold of him. Now you can use your second attack if you want to try to get him for that second one already, or however you want to go from here.
All right, from here, I am going to bonus action, and what I do is I got him in a headlock like this, and I just start just giving him a little noogie, but what I'm doing is I'm hexing him as I do that. And as I'm just hexing him like this, just magic energy starts coming through my fist into his brain.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And then after I noogie him a little bit, then we just give him one good uppercut right to the face.
Heck yeah, go ahead and roll it.
Oof, nat 1.
Yep. He manages to slip his head back just enough so where you miss the uppercut, but you still have one athletics success, and you've got him in that headlock. He is going to do a contested to try to break free from it.
Mm-hmm.
Try to ruin that momentum for you. Okie dokie. Roll roll an athletics.
Sure. Plus 9. Oof, rolling low today. 11.
Alrighty, so he does the classic move where he breaks the arm off, throws it back as you spin out, and it took his action to get out of that, so it's gonna go around back to you.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting the crowd involved. Now that I've kind of been, beaten once. And then I got out of my grasp. I just kind of start pointing at him, and then I start pointing at the crowd like this. I start pointing everywhere. Just trying to get the crowd involved. So what are my crowd actions? I know I can get a beer. I can get a chair. Was that what it was?
So basically, you'll appeal to the crowd, and if you beat the DC, then I'll roll a 1d4 and tell you what happens.
Right, cool. Dig it. Yeah. I just start trying to bring the crowd up on my side. That was just kind of the first little tussle. Now I'm ready. I'm warmed up.
Alrighty, so it'll be a DC 18 performance or charisma based check, or a DC 20 if you want to go for athletics.
18 performance or 20 athletics. We're gonna go athletics. I just start flexing on them. Just giving them muscles.
Oh.
See if I can roll better this time. I've rolled a 1, a 2, and a 2. Oh, didn't make it. Rolled a 7. The total 16.
Ah. Alrighty, so that doesn't count against one of the times that you can receive help. It just doesn't work this time. So you still have your action and movement.
All right, no grabbing him this time. We just got to weaken this big guy up. So I just start bouncing all boxing style. And then we start just kind of trying to wail away at him with some strikes here. So first one. That'll do it. That's a 22 to hit.
That'll hit.
All right. 1d8 plus 6. 12 damage off just the normal hit plus 1d6 for the hex. Another 2 damage, so that's 14 damage. And where is this thing? And then as my bonus action, oh, that's why it's in my inventory. That's why. As my bonus action, what I do is my last move, I just kind of take my hand like this and just kind of like put it on his head for a second and push him back. But really all I was doing was I was getting my Eldritch Maul from my Eldritch Claw tattoo ready. So I've got this like tattoo on my arm that kind of like is a claw and it kind of goes up into my hand. So I'll just kind of get him right in and I push him back with it. So that's going to give me an extra 1d6 force damage on top of my normal hit on top of my hex moving forward. I should have done that before I hit him, but that's okay.
That's fine. We'll retro it. How much does that do?
Another 1d6. Another 6 damage. So altogether, I hit him for 20 damage on that.
Awesome possum. He looks pissed.
That was the first hit. That was my first attack.
Oh, heck yes. Good. Keep it going.
Yep. 1d20 plus 10 to hit. Second attack is a 29 to hit, so that'll hit.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's gonna do it.
1d8 plus 6.
Plus.
That's another 12 plus 2 more d6. 12 and another 9 is 21. So between the two attacks, well, it was 20 and 21. So 41 damage between my two attacks.
Heck yes. You can go ahead and take solace at the fact that you have hit that first threshold, so you will get a bonus +2 to your athletics checks against him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's action, bonus action, and yep, we're good to go. Yeah, that's all I got right there.
Awesome. He looks pissed and bloodied. He has not had an opponent that has actually challenged him this much in a long time. Does a I take it a 14 doesn't hit.
14 will not hit. No.
He brings his club down and completely swipes over your head for his first one. Yeah, that one's gonna hit, and this one's probably gonna hurt. He rolled a natural 20 on you.
Oh shoot. I am immune to crits.
Oh, look at that. So no, this one's not gonna hurt anymore.
It hurts normal though. Yeah.
That one's gonna be 14 damage.
14. All right, gotcha. I have adamantine splint on, so.
Heck yeah.
All right, we're done about a third of my HP so far. We're good.
Okay.
We're fine.
Yeah, no. You have hurt this man greatly, so don't you worry. Alrighty. That's his whole action economy, so it's back to you.
Oh yeah. All right. So, does it cost an action or anything to get the crowd involved, or is that just?
It is a bonus action to try to elicit the crowd.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Oh, that's what I'm gonna do this time then. Bonus action. I'm gonna spiritual weapon.
Okay. What does your spiritual weapon look like?
Oh, I mean, it's a chair. Yeah,
It's a folding chair. Got it.
Yeah, because yeah. So, but and when I do it, I kind of like get the crowd all riled up, and I like kind of reach down under the mat and like pull it out, but instead of just like a regular metal chair, it's like a glimmering radiant chair. As I get back in the ring and I go towards him. Obviously, weapon does its own thing. So it is going to attack as the bonus action. Or 1d20 plus 8, I think, for my. Make sure I got that right. Oh, that's plus 10 as well. Okay. Oh yeah, that is right. Yes. All right. 15 to hit with the spiritual weapon.
That one's gonna miss.
Okay, yeah, so spiritual weapon whiffs. I'm a little angry. Hopefully, you got distracted. A little angry that my spiritual weapon missed. But now I'm going to use my first action to just try to like chop him in the throat really quick. Oh, whoopsie. Let's try this again. R1d20 plus 10. 27 to hit.
That'll do it.
All right. R1D. I wonder if there's a better way to do this with all my different dice, but I'll figure that out later. 10 points on the initial, plus the hex damage and the claw damage. 7 more damage. 17 in my first one.
Okay. So roll your other and just total it all up and give it to me.
So I'm gonna chop him, and then as my second attack action, I'm going to try to just like grab his legs and pull him down.
Alrighty. Then let's get that athletics checks going.
Athletics. R1D20 plus 9. 17.
Yeah, you successfully pick his legs.
Sweet. Yeah. And just trying to just grab his legs and shove him to the ground. Basically, that's a shove. But yeah, so yeah,
Gotcha.
cool.
So yep, we've got. He's just gonna try. He's gonna take his action to try to break out of that.
Hold on 1 second, because I'm a fighter, buddy. Yeah, it's my time to go ahead and try to take this into my own hands. We're gonna go ahead and what's it called? It's not second wind. What's the
Action
fight?
surge.
Action surge. Yeah, we're gonna action surge if I can.
Heck yes, you can. You get one more action and one more bonus action. So
Oh yeah. All right. So bonus action. Now that I have him on the ground, I am going to try to get the crowd involved again. So we'll go athletics.
I want you to get one of these so bad.
21.
Yes, you get it. Alrighty. Um, so as you appeal to the crowd, and you've got him there, you appeal. Suddenly, a nice frosty beverage appears in your hand.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just chug it, and half of it doesn't even get out in my mouth. It just kind of comes, over my mouth and down onto my chest.
Oh my God, you get 14 temporary HP.
14 temp HP.
I rolled 2 6s. So.
Sweet. Feeling good. All right. Second action. I guess we'll go ahead and make. I guess we'll go ahead now that I'm feeling good. We will just kind of like jump up and try to like land on him and pin him. So I don't know if that's an attack or a grapple.
So this will be your second of 3 athletics checks. So this is to put him on the ground. He will have disadvantage to get out of this on his turn next if you beat him here.
All right. 1d20 plus 9 athletics. 26.
Yeah, he rolled a 4. So you successfully have him on the ground.
Beer body slamming.
So all he has is all he can do is try to get out of this because he's just flailing there on the ground. And he has disadvantage against you, and and a -4 at this point. Don't roll a 1. That's all I can say. Just don't roll a 1.
Oh. Yeah, I did. I rolled 27 total.
Great. So that was he does not break out of it. Um, he you this thing is literally over twice your size. Um, and weighs infinitesimally more than you, and you have just taken his legs and brought him down. And he sits there and he plants and he tries to get up, and as soon as he gets like 3 inches off the mat, and you just go nope and force him right back down.
Hell yeah.
And with that, it's gonna be your turn. You just need one more success to pin him and win the fight, and he's got disadvantage against you and a -4.
Awesome. So I'm holding him down, and I just kind of look up, and there's the radiant chair. Just kind of motion towards his head like this, and so as my bonus action, my chair will try to smack him in the face here. That's not going to hit. That's a 10, so it misses, I assume.
Yeah, he pulls his head up at the last second, and the chair slams against the mat.
All right. Well, in that case, I'll just take my foot and kind of like reach it up like this and kick him in the face and try to hold him down at the same time. So we will go ahead and make it a.
Are you just gonna try to pin him here?
Well, I'm going to hit him one more time and then pin him.
Gotcha.
R1d20 plus in the hit. Oof. Not going to happen, I don't think. 11.
You do have advantage as he is currently on the ground.
Nice. All right, cool. Oh my gosh, I rolled 2 nat ones back to back.
So yeah, you go to stomp. Again, he just moves his head in time. You slam against the mat. But you still have one more attack if you want to just go ahead and try to end it. You're working your way up. This might be the last match before your championship. Like it's everything's riding on here, and you've got him dead to rights.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna try to pin him one more time. I missed him a couple of times. We just kind of like do like a spin maneuver, like on his belly, grab his legs, and kind of like sit up, just trying to bend him over in half as I try to pin him here. If I can get back to the roll screen, there we go. Rolls. Here we go. R1d20 plus 9. 21.
Okay. So you have him. You have impossible. This regular laws of physics says this should not be possible, but this long arm bugbear has grabbed the ankle of this 16-foot tall giant and is hanging it over as this halfling appears right next to you both. 3. He slams the map, and your uh, the sounds start to almost fade. Like everything's kind of muffled now that you're straining, so maybe you're thinking it's just the blood rushing to your ears, muting
Flexing
everything.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. 2. And you feel like the spotlights that typically light you up are burning. Like they feel hot to you. It's almost blinding, and you're trying. And like many years ago, when you were sitting on your homeworld meditating, he's about to slam his head down to pin, and suddenly you're not in a ring anymore. And that's the end of your intro.
Take me through a day for Shocklin. What's this world called that you live in?
I never gave it a name. It's just kind of a nebulous plane that
Nameless.
seems to cross
Anything you
over a
want to
bunch of
inform us
places.
about the background or flavor of the setting in which your character grew up in? Have you always lived here?
He's always lived in this commune that he's been in ever since as far back as he can remember. His parents sold him to the Order because he showed the signs of favor from the deity that watches over them, known as the
Okay.
many-faced god.
So you don't live in a familial structure. You're like an acolyte. You live in some kind of like religious structure. The
Yes.
Watchers.
He's been a servant of the Order of the Watchers for 100 years at this point.
Okay, fantastic. Take me through a day. What does that look like? Are you always? Are you? Is there like a lot of time spent in the cloister or in the commune, or are you out like stepping through portals every day, going to hunt aberrations, or do things ever come through the portal to you guys?
Yeah, so the Order is based where it is because it's kind of on the edge of the plane that they're on, and things come through the portal into the realm. Specifically, they formed the Order against aberrations who were coming in and mind controlling people.
Daily occurrence?
No, for a while it can be monthly, but his typical duties would just be standing guard duty within the Order itself, or
Without you, this plane would be overrun by visitors.
yes.
What kind of social structure do you guys have within the what'd you call it, the commune? Like, are you at the top of that?
No, the clergy stand at the top of it. The paladins are an offshoot of that. They are subservient to the clergy. They're like the Knights Templar to the Catholic Church.
Okay, gotcha. And you say you lack the militaristic discipline of the order. Tell me about that. If you've been there for 100 years, why are you still so carefree?
Uh, because he just can't seem to take the dogma seriously.
Okay.
It just doesn't quite sit right with him, and he constantly has the urge to kind of wander off. He fights the call of the void in a literal sense, where he just wants to walk through a portal and see what's there, regardless of whether it's a known space on the other side or not.
All right. So tell me about what the area where the gates are looks like. What kind of terrain is this? Are to paint the setting for me? You're standing guard. What does this all look like?
Um, so the commune is situated on the edge of a cliff. Uh, at the end, like on the edge of the cliff, there's like an aurora borealis. That's almost like it almost looks like you'd reach out and touch it.
Okay.
It's a very surreal setting. It is not on a planet. It's just a platform in like in a plane. It's like in the
Okay.
astral plane.
Can you fly?
So
Do you have to fly to the portals?
no, they're along the edge of the cliff.
Okay. So you can
There's
walk
just
on it. You
rifts
mentioned
in
having a
space.
group earlier. Tell me about your group. Like, who do you travel with the same watchers every day? Do you know these people?
He has a squad that he's assigned to.
Okay. So you guys are like throwing down,
At
right?
times,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
When
guys
he's
are
not
out
getting them
there.
in trouble and making them mad.
Yeah, standing guard on the cliff, like really goofing.
Yeah.
How often do you see Pedrathrax? Tell us about him. What's that relationship like?
Padrathrax is a blue half dragon. He is somebody that he first ran into on a mission to subdue some Illithid and another plane. They basically just crossed paths. The Illithid had taken something that Padrathrax was looking for, so they ended up bumping into each other while they were both killing the same targets.
He's not from this plane, though.
No.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, like you actually have to stand out here and stand guard by the gates. You've got a whole squad of other individuals with you. Are they like of the same rank as you? Do you lead the team?
No, he does not lead the team.
Okay.
He is just a regular member of the squad. There is a different person in charge, and that
And
person is
if
a
you go
cleric.
through one of the portals, how do you get back?
Either with scrolls of plane shift, or with some a member of the team will sometimes be given an amulet of the planes with which to bring back the party.
And you've always got those on you.
Someone on the squad will always have at least one of those objects.
I gotcha. All right. So one day while you're standing watch out by the gates, um, something starts to occur on the edge of like this known astral space that you're talking about. And what appears to be a new tear in time space starts to form at the edge of this, like the Aurora Borealis, you called it. And you essentially, for the first time in history, begin to see a new portal forming right in front of your very eyes. Once the opening gets large enough for somebody to pass through, you see the limbs of your blue dragon nemesis, Padrathax, start to protrude through the hole. And he roughly falls through onto the cliff face while you're standing there.
Well, that's a dramatic entrance.
Uh, Several beams, essentially, of dangerous looking energy fire through the portal after him, singeing the cliff face around him as he rolls out of the way.
I ready my glaive and point it at the portal in case anything else comes through.
So this is essentially what Hadrathrax looks like. This is the scaly blue half-dragon sorcerer that we mentioned before. He's carrying a long spear, and he seems to be fighting off something coming through the portal, slowly emerging behind the deadly-looking rays. Is this creature? The first thing you see is an eyeball at the end of a tentacle sticking out of the newly emerged portal. Basically, like a fleshy, organ colored tentacle attached to that tiny eyeball stretching out behind it. As soon as you see the first one, several more start to clamber out of the hole as well. And then there's a gigantic floating head chasing the half blue dragon out of the portal. He is now laying prone, trying to stab up in the air at this thing as it fires rays at him. I think you'll probably be fairly familiar with the creature since you hunt aberrations. This shouldn't come as a surprise to you that this is a fairly high level enemy that you're not going to face very often. And this would be probably represent a large threat to you. I mean, I would assume. You tell me. As far as aberrations go, this is one of the Mac Daddies of these horrific creatures from the outer planes. Its grinding rows of like rotating teeth can be heard chattering and like sputtering saliva all over the prey that it's chasing. So, how do you react to this situation? How
The
much?
very first thing I do is I brandish my spear and I use my channel divinity to abjure the extraplanar.
Tell me what now? Say it again.
I'm going to use my Oath of the Watcher's channel divinity to abjure the extraplanar.
You're going to have to give me a definition.
I can use channel divinity to castigate unworldly beings. As an action, I present my holy symbol, and each aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, or fiend within 30 feet that can hear me must make a wisdom saving throw.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to do that now. A 10.
So you are turned, or the beholder is turned for 1 minute.
Which means.
Like turn undead. It's
Yeah, I know. Talk me through.
So he will be trying to move as far away from me as it can, and it cannot willingly end its move in a space within 30 feet of me.
Okay, fantastic.
It can only use the dash action or try to escape from an effect that prevents it from moving.
Gotcha. Fantastic. All right, so it begins to move away from you at as fast as possible speed when it gets to its turn. Padrathrax, desperate on the ground and thankful probably to have been saved out of this horrible situation. Shocklin, once again I owe my life to you. Thank you for saving me from that horrible creature. Surely I would have been a goner had I not stumbled upon into your plane by chance. Thank the gods that this is where I ended up.
Yeah, we'll just add it to your tab.
Can we give me an insight check? Can you give me an insight check?
I can give you an insight check.
I don't know how I'm making it up for this guy since I don't have much to know about his character, but I've made some assumptions about his character.
27.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow. You see right through people, don't you? Um, he's being uncharacteristically thankful. You know, although you have done things for him in the past, and you guys have definitely maybe saved each other's bacon. Maybe not that being your primary priority at the time. You know, when people have fought together, it's definitely happened. But you also, you could chalk it up to the situation that he's been in. He was almost was about to lose feet to the grinding teeth of a horrifying beholder. Um, the only thing your insight reveals is that he's being a little overly grateful. But who wouldn't be in this situation?
Okay.
All right, and how long is he turned for?
1 minute. So if he was still coming through the portal, he would have just.
He catches his breath, and he tells you, "Listen, through that gate, there's more of these creatures, more than I've ever seen before, threatening to spill over the boundaries and into all other worlds. Something has to be done about this. I think we need a watcher."
Well, this is the order of the Watchers. I turn to my squad. I go,
Convenient.
sound the alarms we might have a situation.
That's right, everybody. Sound the alarms. You heard the guy. All right, I think we should probably go right now.
Um,
Everyone, you've got the scrolls, you've got the amulet, you guys have everything we need?
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic real quick.
Okay.
Actually, no. I'm going to cast Dispel Magic
Okay.
on Padrathrax.
As he's recognizing what you're doing with your hands, he's like, whoa, 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 I'm a sorcerer. And I'm an experienced one. I know what you're doing. I've got a lot of expensive magical art all over me. Don't do that. What are you thinking? You want me to do that to you? Jesus, man, do I have to explain everything to you?
You are acting a little odd, so I'm just making sure that the aberrations haven't
You're
gotten
odd.
into your head.
That's what I think.
Okay, then, try this. I pull off one of my rings and I say, put this on.
Well, okay. Out of character, what's the play?
Out of character, I have a ring that makes him have advantage against resisting psychic effects.
Okay. So you're going to help him resist psychic effects or the opposite?
Help him resist psychic effects.
All right, he's going to put it on.
Okay. Does it change his behavior?
I don't know what this was supposed to do. It's a very nice ring. You don't have to give me guess. I'm asking you for help.
Okay. I take the ring back.
What's your action?
I'm going to tell him to stand by while leadership gathers so we can assess the situation.
Thank you. That's all I ask. I mean, you guys figure, consider it. It's a grave threat.
And in the meantime, I'm going to conjure a couple of chairs and sit down.
Okay. It's very comfortable.
Yeah. Then I'm just going to wait for leadership to gather and decide if they're going to do anything.
They all come out to meet. Everybody talks amongst themselves. There's a lot of like old men huddling around. Somebody goes over to this guy. They get to bring this guy into the conversation. Finally, they come to you and like, all right, so what happened here? I assume you relate the story to your leadership.
Yeah, tell them a gate opened. This guy came through. I've encountered him a few times on missions. And then, uh, did did the beholder go back through the gate, or is it still on our side?
No, it's just like turned over there.
Okay.
I'm just holding this. This is all in 1 minute. Waiting to decide whether you're going to fight this thing, go through this portal with him, or if we're just, what are we going to do?
Yeah. I gesture to the beholder. I was like, that came through. Uh, and we need to figure out what we're gonna do before that wears off.
Well, we've got seconds. So listen, here's what we're going to do. We can take care of the beholder. We're all here now. There's a lot of us.
This is
So
true.
we're good there. We're all watchers, right, guys? You guys are watchers? We're all watchers.
Yeah. All right. So
as you're having this conversation, the beholder turns around, like snarling, angry looking, heads back this way. And just like a shitload of guys just rush out. 20, 30 watchers. They just all like form it.
chunky salsa.
Yeah, done.
I
So,
go,
problem solved.
so
What do we do about the new portal? Padrathrax. What do we do about him?
well,
This is what I assume all your leaders sound like.
yeah. Well, I guess then we need to get a squad together to go through there and see if we can clear things out. See what's through it.
All right, that sounds like a good idea. Padrathrax is like, I told you guys that we've got to do this. I'm ready. Let's go.
I look at him sideways. I'm just like, there's something fishy about the way he's acting. And then I go, well, I guess that kind of makes my squad volunteer since we're the ones who initially discovered all this. What do you say, guys? Once more into the breach?
Yay!
I take a run up and go through the portal.
Padrathrax is right behind you. I'm coming, bud. We're going to do this again. When you guys go through the portal, you emerge into what is a dark room. There is a little bit of light coming in from several feet above you, as if streaming in through cracks in a room. You've entered into a building. It looks like the air around you is very damp and musty, and you think you're in like a cellar or something like that, maybe, and just a little bit of light coming through the boards on the ceiling.
Okay.
It's your first
Um.
assumption. Could be a basement, a cellar, dungeon. Could be it's probably not the bottom of a ship. It's not moving. You can rule that out pretty quickly. But otherwise dark. You can't really see what's going on in there. You hear all the guys moving behind you, and you hear the much larger and like taloned feet of Padrathrax scraping beside you.
Yeah. Well, I start trying to feel around for a door.
In front of you, you just feel like iron bars, basically.
Okay. Iron bars. Well, we seem to be in some sort of a cell here. Padrathrax, got anything to say about that?
As you're asking him this question, in the dim light, you fail to see him slip in front of you, and you hear the creaking of a door, and Padrathrax walks out of the cell door, shutting it behind him.
I assume I hear it click locked.
Absolutely.
Okay. Um. Then I am going to try and break the lock.
Okay. What are you going to break the lock with?
Uh, I'm gonna start with my bare hands and then move on to my glaive if I need to.
Okay. Let's make a strength check.
All right.
Okay. We can attack it. Hack the door.
Strength check. 14, 18 with proficiency.
Right as you do that, Padrathrax's voice can be heard saying, "What are you doing? You know that's not going to work. We're both way too old for that. It'd be crazy for me to put you in a regular cell."
Yeah. You've been acting weird. You might be slipping.
Before you guys go through the whole thing, the magic ring's not going to work, or the amulet, or whatever it is, and the scrolls aren't going to work. We're in a plane where magic doesn't work. It's genius, right?
Plane where magic doesn't work.
All planes have their own properties. Blah, 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 blah. You've been to enough of them. Sometimes you float, sometimes there's no land, sometimes you move with your brain, and in this one, there's no magic. So,
Okay.
I finally neutralized you. I can carry out all of my grandiose plans that you've been constantly foiling across this whole back and forth thing, and we're good now. You're gonna die in this cell, and just in case you figure out any funny stuff to do after I walk away, I've left this mindless robot to watch you. And you hear some creaking as a body moves in the corner outside of the cell.
Okay.
All right, that about does it. Goodbye. And then he walks up some stairs. You see a door open and more light pours in, and Padrathrax walks out and leaves you for dead in a cell in a foreign plane that you've never ventured to, where apparently magic doesn't work. There seems to be a creaking old box-shaped robot outside of the cell that you're trapped in. You can barely, you just make out of its shape, and it has said nothing to you. It's the only other living thing there, except for your friends around you in the cell. Now he told you that magic doesn't work, but surely you're going to try it anyway. You're not going to take his word for it. You guys are going to expend spells and scrolls and try the artifacts and do all that stuff.
The first thing I want to know is, does that mean that like I guess there's only one way to find out. So I'm going to use Performance of Creation, which is a bard ability, not a spell.
Okay.
It allows me to create up to large non-magical objects in any space around me.
What is it? How are you doing it?
It's a bardic ability. I'm a
What kind of
Intelligence
ability?
Creation bard.
Does it make magic?
No, it specifically makes non-magical things.
But it's magic that makes non-magical things. My point.
Uh, Let me see how it's defined. You channel the magic of the song creation. Okay, so that won't work. Uh, then yeah, I'm just going to look around and see if there's any kind of weak spot in the cell on a physical sense, and then I'm going to attack it until it breaks.
As you start to prod around on the door and the lock, you feel like a thin wooden shaft, maybe of a short dowel of some kind of pop you on the hand. And then you hear the creaking arms of the robot like resetting and setting back into his position.
So it just slapped me on the hand for trying to find something.
He's guarding you.
Okay.
You said you're trying to feel around for what you're trying to break out. He's just popping you on the hand.
So where's the light coming from in this room?
There's light coming from floorboards above this like underground room. So there's light in the room above you, essentially.
Okay, I'm going to step back away from the iron bars towards the center of the room, and I'm going to attack the ceiling with my glaive.
Okay.
See if I can cut through the floorboards.
You're making very little progress. It is probably possible to bore through the floor. It will take a very long time, but you've got a whole team of guys there. Maybe that's how you can get out. But it's not going to happen today. This is going to be a multi-day job.
Okay.
It's probably not the easiest way either.
Let's see. I'll settle in to wait a few days while we come up with a plan, and I'll just constantly keep trying things in that time period.
Okay. I dig it.
Let's see.
What options would you attempt to exhaust over a several days' times? Take 20 at it. Throw a bunch of ideas at it.
One of the things that I
You've got a
try
cell.
is
You've
I
got a
have
door you can't break. You've got an NPC who said nothing to you.
Yeah.
And you've said nothing to them. And you've got chipping through the floor over several days, taking turns.
So one of the first things I try is, of course, talking to the robot to see if it responds.
It does. It responds in common. What do you say to it?
Yeah. So, do you work for Padrathrax?
I am of Mechanus. I serve Primus.
Then why are you obeying a lawful evil entity?
The Dragon Man says he will give me artifact to get to Mechanus.
We can get you to Mechanus.
He considers this for a minute and doesn't say anything. Finally, after some thought, he says, I will wait. If Dragon Man doesn't help, you will help. And then he sits down.
I'd like to make an Arcana check.
Okay.
My specific question is, if he's from Mechanus, that means that he's probably some sort of Modron.
Correct.
Modron are powered by the magic of Mechanus, which means that outside this cell, magic seems to work. I just want to see if I can confirm that with an Arcana check.
You're claiming that a Modron, if they lose access to the magic of Mechanus, they'll no longer function. Is that correct?
It makes them go real screwy until they cease functioning.
Well, no one's saying he's not real screwy.
That's true. That's why I'm just trying to see if my character can figure out anything from that.
So I'll give you this. The rogue Modrons are cut off from like the hive mind of Mechanus. and they seem to be out there. That's a phenomenon that's known of.
Okay. Then the next thing that I'm going to try over the few days is using a disguise kit. And I'm going
Okay.
to try and convince the Modron that I am a different person who was not supposed to be trapped in the cell.
I love that. Let's roll a check for that. That's great.
All right. Do I get advantage for the disguise or anything like that?
I mean, don't you have to roll for using a disguise kit? How good are you at disguising yourself? Is that not a thing? We don't roll with that kit?
I have proficiency in it from my background.
I could be wrong, but do kits in 5th edition not just add bonuses to separate checks?
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is you want advantage on persuading him you're a different person because you have a disguise check. Let's just do it this way. Let's just yeah, I get what you're saying. So let's just do the charisma based persuasion check. You're gonna persuade him you're a different person, and yeah, we'll give you we'll give you advantage, I guess, because you have disguise kit. Is that what you're saying? That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
You have proficiency with it. You did disguise. Who are you trying to be? Just anybody else? You're not trying to look like Padrathrax.
No, that would require illusions.
Okay.
I can't make myself look like a half dragon.
What you got?
So I've got 16 plus. You said it's persuasion
Mm-hmm.
or performance?
I mean, I think you got to persuade him you're a different person.
All right. 29.
Are you could do better if it was performance. Is that the idea?
No, it's actually the same. I just wanted
Okay,
to make
yeah.
sure.
All right, let's do it then. Good. Either way, doesn't matter.
29.
Fantastic. Jesus, what a performance. You
Uh,
succeed in persuading the Modron that you're not supposed to be in the cell and you're a completely different person. He doesn't really know how you got there, but he's not questioning it. After all, he is a plain traveling lost Modron himself. People popping in and out of all over the place really isn't that uncommon in his life. Being the lawful creature that he is, he does feel compelled to open the cell and let you out.
I thank him profusely in Elven instead of common, and then I kind of gesture for the rest of the group to try to come through the door.
Um, the rest of the group runs through the door very quickly. I assume you guys were prepared for this, so it shouldn't seem odd that you guys are bum rushing the cell door, and he's now getting frantic since he realizes everybody else is getting out as well. The people he's supposed to be guarding.
Yes.
All right, what do you guys do when you're out of the cell? The only other exit that you know of in the room is the stairway that Padrathrax walked out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up through that door.
All right, when you guys bust out of the door, you don't see exactly what you're expecting to find. You bust out onto essentially what is a wooden floor, which comprised the roof of the small dungeon that you were in, but completely surrounding you is utter blackness, other than the small wooden platform that you're now standing on that formed the roof to the cell that you were just in.
Well,
There is a lamp to your right, um, just burning completely on its own. It's not even that tall. It's like a small side table lamp that just happens to be sitting on the floor.
okay.
It's burning kerosene. So completely black, void, with a small wooden platform.
Uh, so I'm going to try casting a cantrip just to see if I can use magic. I'm
It
going to try.
fizzles.
It fizzles?
Correct.
Okay. Do I have any idea what caused it to fizzle?
This plane, you've been told this that you can't use magic in this plane. Seems the most logical explanation.
That begs the question of how did Padrithax leave?
It does beg that question.
Um, so I'll try casting a bigger spell and see if maybe I just need to put more juice into stuff. I'm going to cast Dimension Door.
Your spell fizzles.
Okay. I'm going to turn to the team and see if any of them have any ideas.
We could just try to walk away.
Who try what?
We could just walk away. We just walk right out there. See what happens.
You first.
Go for it.
Fine, I don't want to be here. He steps off the platform and immediately vanishes.
Does he fall or just poof?
It happened so quickly, you're not sure. It does kind of look like he was like sucked down.
Okay.
It didn't look fun. But that doesn't mean it wasn't.
Fun. So I'm going to pull an object from my belt.
Okay.
It's a horn of ale. I'm going to down that real fast.
Okay.
I'm going to take the lamp. Is it like a fixture or is it just like something I could pick up?
You can pick it up. It's an object. It's a small kerosene lamp.
I'm going to tie the end of a rope around the door frame
Okay.
that let us out here, and then I'm going to tie the other end around my waist.
Okay.
And then I'm going to step off the edge.
All right. So as soon as you step off the platform, you just simply step out onto a dusty cobbled street through a dark archway. When you turn behind you, there's a stone archway leading into essentially what looks like to be a building to you in the darkness. As soon as you step off the platform, you step out of this archway. This is the scene that you see in front of you. It's a dusty street filled with buildings of strange architecture. A massive array of incredibly interesting looking individuals walk all around you. And if you look up in the sky, you can see the ground itself curve up above you in a crescent shape as the buildings continue around the landscape that appears to be one great ring.
Well, that's new.
The lamp hits you in the back and catches your shirt on fire.
I stop, drop, and roll.
I want to get a reflex save. I'm just playing.
I mean, I'm immune to surprise.
That surprised you, but only because you weren't actively thinking.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So I
The
stop.
other
drop,
guy that
and
just
roll.
jumped is only a few feet in front of you, looking around wildly.
I tap him on the shoulder.
Where are we? How have we never been here before? Don't you think someone would have told us about this place? This
Those
looks
are both
crazy.
excellent questions. What's going on with the rope around my waist?
Well, now it's just hanging on the ground. There's a broken lantern on the ground. Wasn't the rope tied to the lantern? Isn't that what you said?
To the door
I'm
frame.
so sorry. I thought that's what you said.
No,
What
to the
about
door
the
frame.
lantern?
I asked if it was stuck to the ground because I was initially going to tie it to the lantern.
I thought that's what you did.
Nope,
Yeah, I
to
thought
the
you
door
tied a
frame.
lantern to you and stepped off the platform. I'm sorry. That's why I said it struck you.
No.
It made perfect sense to me with the physics that we were going for there. All right, well, then you did you bring the lamp?
No, I left it behind
We
with
know
the
what
other
you
people
don't
who are
have.
still there.
You don't have an extra lamp. So think about that for a while. You're in an unknown landscape, a city you've never been before. You've recently been, it was an attempt to imprison you by your arch nemesis Padrathrax in this dark cell dimension that you have just escaped. Um, a small, bald, pudgy man walks up to you and starts poking you with his stick. Get on now, you've escaped. You can go on your way. You're going to ruin my business lingering around here. He's got like a coin belt on where he's been like collecting change and sticking it in there. And then he starts shouting back to the street again after he's poked you with his stick enough. Imprison your enemies in a pocket dimension. Everyone's had their slugs swept off their plate, unbeknownst to them when they weren't looking. Everybody has had their pets stolen by one of the peacekeepers for some kind of strange interdimensional heist that they've been going on with the innkeeper's understudy in the next town over. That's what pocket dimensions are good for. Put your enemies here and they'll never get out. Only 40 coppers. So this man essentially means to be hawking his wares in the street. And the service that he provides is imprisoning your enemies in a small pocket dimension that he keeps right here on the street corner.
Yeah, like I said, I'm giving this man a gold coin and saying, "You provided wonderful service, and I will be making use of it in the future."
What a kind gentleman. Thank you for the tip, sir.
Where would young Volo find himself a 10-day after Midsummer?
Um, oh, please excuse me. If it's a warm season, he's probably spending some days in Neverwinter, or maybe even a slightly farther north in some of the smaller commonwealths and communities outside the region of Neverwinter, still within the Crown's control. We don't want to be farther south down the Sword Coast. It can get quite muggy this season.
So not all the way up to 10 towns, but definitely where the climate is nicer.
Yeah, and normally somebody who really enjoys the nightlife because he really enjoys the ladies, or maybe the ladies really enjoy him. He would often be out and about in the town of Neverwinter, taking in some of the more exciting social activities. But currently, he's found himself avoiding some of the hot spots because he's procrastinating finishing his next prolific work. He has a new publisher that has commissioned him to write a book, kind of about travel and tourism. An area that he's been crucial before. This book is actually going to be called Neverwinter Nightlife: A Volo's Guide, and it kind of represents a slight shift to less integrity in journalism than he's had before. A lot of Volo's earliest works that have launched him to literary celebrity are actually more of a like an anthropological, kind of thing. There is travel and there is tips to surviving the wilds of the Sword Coast and cities as well, but there's also deep dives into like who people are and the way different cultures interact, and not necessarily about all the differences all the races share, but really what we have in common. So he's really kind of avoiding finishing this next book. His mentor, Elminster, has told him that he shouldn't take the project and that he should really stick to his scholarly works. So there's a lot of like emotional stuff going on around this book.
Have you sent a rough draft to Elminster yet?
I literally haven't gone to a bar since I've gotten this assignment.
Okay, so you
So
just
I've not
got
been
it.
doing any research on the nightlife in Neverwinter. I've contacted the publisher a few times. They're like, seriously, Volo, just give us a list of your favorite places to get laid and we'll have it punched up. But he hasn't even turned that in.
Wonderful.
He's currently probably kicked back fireside somewhere. He's probably like writing some poetry that he knows damn well isn't any good and he should never publish. He's like kind of lamenting, the mood that he's in, and mostly he's sad for all of the men and women who won't get the pleasure of dancing with him tonight or possibly being taken home.
So you are not out in a bar, you are in private.
That's correct. I'm just in my rooms.
Wonderful.
Some rich friend probably put me up in one of their extra homes on the high street.
As you're sitting there writing poetry, you hear a rap on your door.
Who is it? He says, exasperated.
If you're busy, I'll come back, but your friend asked me to pay you a visit.
What friend? Everyone knows I have so many.
Your editor.
Tell him I don't want to hear from him right now. There's nothing I need less than some of Elminster's lectures about integrity.
There's coin in it. And fame.
He peaks more at the second word than the first, but he then also starts to quietly consider what happens if he doesn't meet his deadline or turn in a book for this next assignment. And currently, since he's on such shaky ground about where his career will be going next, he probably shouldn't turn down the coin either. So he's going to shuffle over to the door in his house robe, which is hanging open, revealing his extremely sculpted physique. And he's going to open the door for this visitor.
You see a young human woman.
Lucky I'm splashing a portrait of young Volo.
Okay.
Do you want to share that? The gang, you guys can look at this fantastic image I've AR created for my character.
Wonderful.
It's just this way all the time. All the time. All right. Well, good evening. What brings you here?
Like I said, your friend sent me.
Usually his messengers are birds or extremely unattractive fey creature, or, things like that. It's very rare that he sends anyone as pretty as yourself.
Oh, this old form? That's not that much.
Oh, a little mystery, eh? You've got a few different facades?
So, to the point.
That's a quality I admire in a woman. Let's get to it then.
Here. I don't know why he's having me do this, but here's 500 gold pieces.
He interrupts you and says, "Come on, let's get inside off the street. Make yourself more comfortable. Can I get you anything to drink?" And closes the door behind you.
For me to be comfortable, we'd have to be outside and
He
preferably
ignores
not
you
on a
again
city
and
street.
starts to show off a piece on his mantle. "I was actually gifted this by the leader of a small tribe of kobold that you'd find just outside the city of Luskin. I'm not sure if they're still there today, but I made an agreement between them and the townspeople that they would be quite happy there for." And then, you can re-interrupt him whenever you're done because he doesn't stop talking.
Yes. And I have been the guardian of a city for quite some time now. We all have stories. Here, 500 gold pieces, take it.
Well, this might buy you my ears for a short time. Please, go on.
There are some caves to the south of here where some interesting things have been happening. Your mentor, editor, friend would like you to investigate them to. I mean, I don't give a fuck, but I'm not supposed to tell you that his reason for sending you is hopefully to inspire a better work than the one that you're working on. I don't know what it is, but he would like you to investigate these caves.
You're telling me that Elminster is sending me on a field trip. At first, he is slightly offended and feels like he's being condescended, but then something strikes him. Can I roll an insight check?
Go for it.
Pull up my character here. I have terrible wisdom. I don't think it's a skill I have.
I feel that tracks.
You feel it tracks? Thank you. I got an 8.
Okay. What are you attempting to...
So he thinks to himself, wait a second. She told me that he didn't want her to. You know what? It's not even suspicious. She probably just likes me and wants to get on my good side.
Okay.
All right, fine. I suppose he's paying a hefty enough price for me to take this little excursion of his. But I'm not going till the morning. I'm very tired.
That's fine. I'll return in the morning to take you there. I heard there are a
What
couple
time are
of.
we going to be here?
Hmm?
What time are you going to be here in the morning?
Sun up?
That's way too early. Can we do noon 30?
So, in the day, not the morning. You're a rider. Shouldn't you know these differences?
All right, fine. Whatever you say. That's when we're going. I'm not going to be happy about it, though.
That's fine. You don't have to be. I just have to drop you off.
On your way out the door, he's like, so it's a date.
Every day is a date. And she leaves. How does Volo spend the rest of his evening before midday tomorrow?
As soon as he closes the door behind her, he says, I should probably get some sleep. And then he doesn't. And he's very tired the next morning when this all happens.
Once again, just simply raps on your door 3 times.
Next morning?
Uh,
Sorry, first.
Sorry, about 11:30 the next day. Like,
Oh, okay. All right. All right, I'm ready for our date. He says when I opens the door.
wonderful, this way. And she starts walking towards the edge of town.
Are we're seriously walking? Is that what we're doing?
No, we're not.
I could have made arrangements.
I have made arrangements. We're walking to the edge of town.
All right, that's a long way, but fine. I've done plenty of walking. Not
It's
recently.
It is 2 minutes in that direction.
So, so, see, so as you guys walking, she also notices that he's wearing a very strong perfume of some kind. He's really laid it on. And his robe's still obnoxiously hanging open.
Um, she will flick a finger in your direction and cast prestidigitation to lower the audacity of your cologne.
That's hilarious.
And as you make it to the edge of town, walking outside of the gates proper, stay here for just a second. And she walks about 30 paces away from you
You're very bossy.
and transforms into
Whoa!
a song dragon with translucent blue and rainbow scales.
At this point, you can see in his eyes that his layers of bullshit and facades have been broken by the miracle of what he's seeing here. And his look of arrogance and foolishness has been replaced by true awe. And you can tell that Volo is truly appreciating one of the only things that impresses him, which is a new entity and creature of which he has not gotten to behold before.
Shall we go?
After a long moment of silence, he just slowly walks towards the song dragon without saying anything.
As you get closer, she begins to beat her wings and take air and claw gingerly, grabs around your arms and shoulder, and off you go.
We're flying through the air.
Yes.
While whooshing through the air, being held by this dragon, Volo is shouting, "That's gonna be the most incredible thing Vagrant's ever read!"
So you are spirited away, and it takes about 30 minutes by dragon flight to get where you're going. And
I'd say it took longer than I thought it was going to. It wasn't fun after a while.
understood. I would have brought a saddle, but it's a little bit degrading. Hmm. Well, this is the cave where things are happening. I've done what I was asked to do. Now, maybe your friend and mentor and editor will spend a little bit more time with his daughter, and I can have some time to myself. Goodbye. And she takes flight again.
He watches her until she disappears, and then turns around towards the cave and slowly starts shuffling off in that direction. He mutters to himself, I don't even have to ask why Elminster's never told me he has a daughter. Damn. Uh, he goes into the cave.
Um, it is just a normal cave from what you can tell. Do you have a torch
Even
or a lantern or something of that
I mean,
nature?
I'm looking at spells right now. I don't even know if I've picked spells. I have a lot of them. I'm 10th level wizard. I cast light.
Okay, you cast
I'll
light.
get more cantrip list later.
It seems natural, and it is leading you in one direction.
I'm still muttering to myself. At this point, I'm starting to complain about the entire thing. This is dumb. This cave sucks. Elminster's an asshole. He always has been. And I'm just like, this is so dumb. I'm probably gonna get to the end. I'm gonna like see myself in a reflection and come to terms. This is ridiculous. Who needs this? Nobody needs this. I don't need this.
Perception check.
13.
13. As you're thinking that, there is a small glint that catches the source of your light spell, and you look towards it, and you do see your reflection in a puddle of water.
I am good. I'm so good. They should just pay me for being good. I shouldn't have to rap it. This is ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna walk right up to it and just like stare right at it.
It, your
Make a bunch
ref-
of crazy faces at it.
your reflection makes a bunch of crazy faces back at you.
There we go. Look at me. I'm Volo. I'll entertain you. I'm your clown. I'll write another book. I'll write some poems. I'll have sex with 3 of you at once. What do you want from me, Faerun?
As you
Look
are
at me. I'm your little puppet boy. I'm just a big joke.
as you are beginning to have a mental breakdown, you hear a clattering from deeper within the cave.
It's probably fucking Dwarger. It's always Dwarger. All right, so I'm gonna mop up my tears,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna take care of this monster threat like a big boy, and I'm gonna walk off in the distance of the sound.
Okay. You continue for about another minute, and you come into what seems like a carved antechamber instead of natural stone. The
Hit
material
that
of. Hmm,
perception check again, just so you can use it if you want to.
okay.
I think that's a good thing to do here. Oh, a 20. I'll screen grab. But go on, I'm listening.
Um, the stone has turned from the natural sediment that you're used to up here to an sort of obsidian, and it is carved and stacked stone. There are 5 pillars that run from floor to roof, and there is a large full-length mirror standing in between them.
Okay. There's another mirror?
Yeah, this is a real mirror, not a puddle of water.
Okay, gotcha. I should have saved that for the real mirror. God damn it. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna take a minute and like take in my surroundings. So I hear anybody living or moving or see anything other than just what's standing here in front of me.
You hear a couple of quick footsteps and then a pop, like somebody has teleported away.
Um, okay, I'm gonna Arcana check that to see like, can I confirm that information? Do I recognize that sound?
Mm-hmm.
I got a 35 on Arcana.
Beautiful. Yes, somebody has plane traveled.
God damn, I'm good. Okay. That mirror is probably gonna teleport me somewhere. This is gonna. Are you watching? Is this what you want me to do? Do you want me to go travel to whatever crazy fucking place you're trying to send me? I'm gonna Arcana the mirror. Can I? Do you want me to roll again?
No, we can use the same check. It
Okay.
is definitely a magical mirror of some sort.
It doesn't fucking send me to the abyss. It'll probably magic might peck her away or some dumb shit. And he's saying this as he's slowly walking towards the mirror.
As he slowly walks towards the mirror, the reflection slowly walks towards you.
My reflection is walking towards me.
Yes, through the mirror. Like you can see yourself in the mirror.
Okay, but it's not walking out of the mirror.
No, not yet.
But I'm in that world too, walking at me is what it looks like. I'm in the mirror.
Correct.
Ooh. I'm gonna like ready my spell hand at him as I
Uh,
walk towards the mirror, like
the
to
re-
cast something.
the reflection does the same.
All right, I'm like, all right, fuck it, and I just run at it.
You run at the mirror. Your reflection runs at you as well. Right before you hit the front of the mirror, your reflection dissipates. And you see a older woman with, for some reason, two eye patches on, dreaded out hair, very meticulous clothes, and her face comes through the glass. You're not the one I wanted from this realm, but you'll do. And she reaches and pulls you in,
Okay,
using your momentum against you.
fair enough. I was running at the mirror. All right. Is there anything else?
Nope. You have
Okay.
gone poof as well.
I'd like to add at the last moment that when he sees her, he says, "Oh fuck, it's Madam Web." And also, I hope this impresses that pretty dragon. Okay, yeah, I love that. That was great. That was fun.
The world of Trerith, engulfed by death and chaos for over 100 years. It's much more quiet now than it used to be. The undead hordes that once covered this world have been slowly hunted. Your stands at a cave entrance. figure stands in front of a cave entrance. A low rhythmic hum reverberates up the cavern walls. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is what you've been hearing. This is what you're being drawn towards. Urani speaks to you. Akaram, I charged you with cleansing your world. This is the final blight. You do.
Akram takes their traveling cloak off of their shoulders and neatly folds it and sets it at the entrance of the cave. Looks to Iker Blight on their shoulder and nods while thinking, well, buddy, this is it. I don't know what we'll do next, but I mean, I can dismiss you and make you look like you used to if you'd like. But I don't know what we're gonna do. But let's finish. And um, takes a wand off of their hip and starts walking forward into the cave.
You leave the open air that smells of death, that has the dark orange hue of the world of Trerith behind you as you step into the cave entrance. It quickly goes from leaves and branches to a thud beneath your foot. This is not just a normal cave. The ground is stonework, and you continue to hear that low rhythmic hum. Mm, 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 mm. 400 yards or so down the cavern, you see a lightly glimmering pink, green, purple hue, just kind of going in and out. As you continue to make your way down this cavern, the humming gets louder. Mm, 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 the lights get brighter. You start to feel the rhythm. Not just hear it, but the walls around you almost move with it. You doing anything as you're approaching this area?
Are there any dead bodies or skeletons around me?
Yeah, for sure. It is very rare, as you know, in Trera to find an area that does not have some type of corpse skeleton laying around. So yes, not piles, but a few as you make your way through the cavern.
Then, as I'm walking towards the glow and the sound, I will flick my wand at 3 as Iker Blight starts chanting in Sylvan. And I will cast Animate Dead and raise 3 skeletons.
Love it. Yeah. And at the end of this hallway, there is no door. Just the angle at which you are coming in, you cannot see into the room. There, once you get, you assume, into that kind of doorway or archway, you will be able to see what's going on. Are you doing anything else to prepare for when you're actually down where you can see?
I will begin moving stealthily. 22.
22, excellent. Roll with disadvantage because they're not paying attention. All right. You start to walk down the cavern, flicking your wand towards three separate corpses, and they start to animate and just slowly follow you down. You lead the way as your three undead subjects now hobble behind you. Um, uh, you start to slow, crouch, stay towards the shadows as you get closer. As you get within sight, you can see a group of undead spellcasters of some sort around all of their necks, dark feathers, the top their heads, wizard type hats. They are chanting and all focusing their arcane energy into one spell, and it seems to be creating some type of life, some type of being, as they all try to channel their energy together. Ronnie speaks to you as you see this. They only say two words: finish this. You do.
They're all within 20 feet of the being that they are creating, right?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to place my wand to my temple and as my lips move, the high chipper voice of Iker Blight is not what comes out of the pseudo dragon. It is instead Akram's voice. And an explosion of energy happens 20 feet radius centered around that creature, and I cast synaptic static. So all of them need to make a DC 19 intelligence save.
Okay. All right. Five of them are going to fail. One of them is going to pass.
Okay.
I assume. Let me ask you what your spell save DC is, but
19.
yeah. One passes.
The ones that failed take 28 damage. The ones that
Oof.
the ones that pass take 14.
Okay.
The ones that failed also have muddled thoughts for the next minute. So during that time, they have to roll a d6 and subtract it from all attacks, ability checks, constitution saving throws to maintain concentration.
Okay. All right. All right. It's a D6 to attack rolls, ability checks, and to maintain concentration.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Roll some initiative for me.
Sweet. One. So 4? Yes, 4.
These humanoids, after your energy blast, you see the creature that they were focusing on immediately go from this large being already quickly withers down and falls to the ground. You hear it cry. They all turn towards you and start to move at you. You did beat one of them in initiative. These guys are the first one is going to um, move towards you. Yeah, they can definitely get you. First one is going to just charge at you and take their claw and slash at you. It's going to be an 18 to hit.
Wisdom save 19.
Fail.
It negates its turn. I have the Among the Dead attribute, so any undead targets that target me directly have to make a wisdom save in order to actually attack me. If they fail, they can choose a new target.
Gotcha. So he comes up and he and just kind of freezes. His face is angry. He's staring you right in the eyes. You can tell, even though the face doesn't have the musculature to actually look angry, you can feel the anger within this being. The another one goes to do the same thing. The minus d6 is not. What's your AC one more time?
AC is 19.
She's 19. Yeah, this one just doesn't hit you. Does it have to do it just to attempt the attack?
Yes.
Okay, well, it can't even attempt the attack either. The fourth one runs up. The tries to do it. The gets a 21 on the wisdom save.
Wonderful.
Okay. The but is not going to hit with its claw. So it pushes through its two allies and scrapes down on top of you. But with that small bit of time as it pushed through its friends, you were able to just slowly step back and the claw comes down in front of you. The next one, seeing its friends not be too successful at what they were doing, starts to raise its staff up and then points it at you. Let's see. It is going to miss, but a dark bolt of necrotic energy comes shooting out of this staff and just cracks against the ceiling above you. It's now your turn.
I'm going to um, Eldritch Blast.
Hmm.
We are 10th level, so that's 2. Well, that's interesting. 17. So does a 28 hit?
Yes, a 28 will hit.
Then both will hit.
Okay.
D10, D10.
Are you going against two different targets or same target?
Same target. The one in the center. 9 and 5 is 14 plus 10, 24 damage.
Gotcha, definitely. Then how do you how's your Eldritch Blast come out?
It is focused through the wand, and it is not. It is it is force, but it looks like radiant energy. It is a bolt of white with flecks of sparkle and glitter in it, and it just shoots right through it.
Nice, that's awesome. Yeah. So the right after his claw comes down, you just kind of scoop back. The bolt of necrotic energy hits your head. A little bit of rubble comes down on top of you, and then you just casually flick your wand forward, and those beautiful speckled bolts of radiant energy, white radiant energy, just two of them, pop, pop, yeah, and just straight through this undead creature as it falls to the ground.
Wonderfuls.
Anything else?
Now my skeletons are going to descend on the one to my right.
Cool, cool, cool.
First one. Let's see. 17 to hit.
17 will hit.
15 to hit.
15 will hit.
Okay, and then the last one was an 18 on the die, so that will as well. They are each going to strike. The same one. 7, 8, 9, plus 6, 15 damage.
Yeah. As you casually flick your wrist forward in your wand, your three skeletons just overtake this other undead who is stopped, still trying to claw you, and just start slashing and beating him up. Just pushing him to the ground, and until he is no longer moving.
Wonderful.
Anything else?
That's it.
Cool. The one who has not gone is actually going to cast invisibility. It is standing there, and then it waves its hand over itself like this and disappears.
Reaction, counter spell.
Okay, it goes like this. It thinks that it disappeared because it's not very smart, and then it starts to try to sneak by you. The real casual like.
Wonderful.
Okay, we're back at the top of the order. It is the one to your. We'll try it again. Wisdom save first. It will pass. Let's see if it can catch it with a claw. It will not. This time it fights through your ability to just stop it from hitting you, and does get its hand on you, but it just rips and just kind of grabs your clothes and does no damage. It is now the one that is in the back. It will try to shoot a grave bolt again. Do I need to make the wisdom save for this guy as well?
Until if it is directly targeting me, yes. Until he passes. Yeah.
Just once he passes the first time, he's good.
Yes.
Okay, cool. He passed the first time.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, just making sure. He is going to fire a bolt again. Maybe he needs some glasses. Maybe he just isn't quite as dexterous as he used to be with his staff. And this one just shanks off to the left and cracks against the wall. It's your turn again.
Okay. Um, let's go with another set of Eldritch Blasts.
Sure.
I will attack the one who is shooting magic at me.
Definitely.
22 and
Yep.
20.
Those will both hit.
Okay. 19 damage.
Nice. Yeah. Once again, the beautiful glittering orbs shoot out of your wand. One hits it in the leg and just totally takes off his left leg. You got two more.
Okay. The skeleton. There's still one right next to me, right? Yeah. The skeletons will go for that one.
Okay.
16, 15, and natural 20.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So 15 and 16 are going to be 7 plus 4, 11 damage. And then the third strike is 2 and 9 plus 4, so 15.
Nice. He had just pulled his claw away from you and kind of looks at it like he was expecting something to be there. Then, as he turns back towards you to maybe make another attack, your skeletons just maul him as well. He meets the same fate as his ally beneath your feet. Anything else?
Nope, that is my turn.
Nice. The one that believes that it is invisible continues to just walk up the path. It still thinks it's invisible. You didn't attack it. It keeps moving. It is picking up its pace and starting to run. That's its turn. It dashes.
Okay. Let's see. Is that the only one remaining? Okay. I will click my heels and activate my winged boots and 60-foot speed fly directly at it and Eldritch Blast.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, give me those rolls.
That is a natural 1, so that will miss, and 23.
23 will hit. Hopefully, he's one of the ones you got with that first spell.
That will be 10 plus 15.
Oh yeah, you click your heels and just like a rocket shoot up the cavern which you had snuck down a few minutes prior. Your wand out in front of you, and pew pew. The first one shanks to the left, but the second one you really aim in on it, then catch him in the back. You are flying up as he is running. You hit him. He goes to the ground, and you just kind of fly over the top of him. Much like a fighter jet after taking a bogey out of the sky.
Woot woot.
It's at that point that you hear the sound of the being again. It still lies in the chamber.
I will fly back down to it.
Before you fire this eldritch blast, you hear it. It stops screaming in your head and starts talking to you, though not with words, but telepathically. It says, "What is dying like?"
I'm afraid I don't know how to answer that. I don't know if I ever will.
And you finish it off. A shot, bam. The creature was not going to live very much longer, and so what you've done is an act of mercy. Irani speaks to you again, and they say, "Have you stopped fearing death?"
I have. I would not say that I've ever feared it. Every time I have passed, I was brought back. And now, from your gifts, I don't know if it's possible for me to reach that again. So it's less of a loss of fear and more of a letting go.
Karam, ask you to cleanse this world. And Tarath is cleansed. I will release you from this curse if you wish.
I don't think that the gifts you've given me is a curse. I have paid my debt for them now. I would like to relax and go someplace new.
You say that, and last thing that you hear Urani say to you is, her wrath is cleansed. The universe is still blackened. And you are no longer on Tarath.
Without further ado, we return to, for me at least, and I think a lot of traditional Dungeons and Dragons players, a more familiar setting. That would be the planet of Toril, the Forgotten Realms as a whole. And we open on a typically mundane tap room. Upon close inspection, an observant individual would notice that it is exceptionally mundane. Like, it is very specifically dusty, but there's like, you get the sense that everything is in its place despite the haphazard nature of it in general. There's organized chaos and that sort of thing. It's about midday. It's the town of Luskin. The This particular one, you, Winifred, are well aware, is about the last one that will serve you in the pirate town, because you have either been banned or thrown out of every other one, like the Cutlass and etc., due to your general escapades and dislike of other pirates. So you are still openly welcome at One-Eyed Jack's. The proprietor has you do odd jobs for him from time to time, and there is a lady tending bar. Her name is Mona. I can't find her picture right now. She's dressed in white robes. She tends bar and helps out at the hospital locally. She used to be an adventurer like you until she got some arcane burns during the spell plague, and so now it's very hard for her to cast because she has like some severe scarring on her hands. So it's kind of indicative that it's difficult for her to cast spells anymore. So she's mostly retired, and she tends bar here at One Eyed Jack's. So you're hanging out, and go,
You said her name was Molly, right?
Mona.
Mona, sorry. Wrong Harry Potter character. um, oh,
I like the
Mona,
hat, by the way.
dear. Would you, one more whiskey for the road? It's been a long day.
Certainly, you still seem upright and ship shape. I think you can handle it. She pours you a double, and she says, "Before you get going, though, I do believe that your favorite gentleman might have a word if you're willing. If you can spare a moment for him." You kind of get the sense that she's talking about the proprietor.
Oh, what is that old bastard with now?
You know,
Fine.
it's a little above my pay grade, but
Oh, I
so
didn't have too terribly much planned for this afternoon, so fine. I'll have a meeting with him.
you know that. Well, in essence, it is accidentally a Harry Potter reference. You know that instead of going like behind the bar or anything like that, just off to the left of the bar, there's a staircase that goes up to the end's rooms. However, Jax's actual office is just straight through the wall there. It's a kind of a just a glamour. And so, you know, you've been back there many a time, and you're well familiar with it.
I grab my drink, pick my hat up, put it on my head, and just lazily saunter directly through the wall.
So this is the gentleman, as you well know him, except that his skin is a more acceptable color of light toned. You know, he never really appears in his full drow guise. He tries to pretend like he's an elf on the surface as much as he can, but in general, people know him as who is his true identity. Um, so you know him as a man of full poise, but at the moment he seems perturbed, and that's relatively severe for his countenance because you've never quite seen him perturbed. He's just kind of droning on his desk, tapping his foot, and it's quite loud within the chamber. You couldn't hear anything before you stepped in, but once you step in, you can hear his boot like resounding against the stone floor.
My. Get you all in a huff.
He sort of glances up. He says, "Oh, right, I forgot that I called for you." And he kind of shuffles some papers around and he sets them aside. He says, "You know, running one of the great pirate families here is almost as difficult as being back in Menzo Berenzin." He kind of launches into the spiel. He says, "Maintaining stability in a city full of pirates is a delicate balancing act, particularly when people are motivated by making sure the common folk are taken care of instead of simple greed. Because I understand greed. Coin is easy, but you know, stabilizing the city after all that we've been through is quite a challenge now, and I could really use more of your particular brand of acquisition."
Well, then I can make this simple for you.
Well, see, that's the challenging part. I'm not certain. It seems like, from the word I've gotten, 3 merchant ships have been destroyed, uh, obliterated, really brutally. Pirates would be doing this because the seas, the harbors are relatively safe for people of your ilk. However, it seems like something's out there attacking our ships off the coast, and it's really becoming difficult for me to rectify this. I haven't got a lot of leads otherwise.
Oh, well, if it's a fact-finding mission, I'm I mean, you know me. I'm not too much sure how help I can be when it comes to the open ocean. You know, me and Colt here tend to stick our 6 legs on the ground. Uh, for the harbor, I can have some of the boys of the crew take an extra eye out.
And there could be some useful treasure amongst what's returned. You and that clever beast of yours are about my best agents to go investigate this.
Do you know who's bought things back from the depths? Anyone in particular?
Well, no one from Ship Kurth. You know, I'm trying to keep that a little bit close to the chest. Not the only investigator that's being employed about this. I believe you're familiar with a gentleman by the name of Weatherby.
Oh, yes.
I think he's on the hunt for the same such treasure as yourself.
Ah, so Weatherby's got his eyes set on it, does he?
So I'm told.
Well, she pauses and just like eyes kind of go out into the middle distance and then goes, "Oh, Colt, you do behave. Anyway, um, well, if that's the case, then I might. There's more than one place I'm still able to go now and then. Uh, might just check on and see what Weatherby himself has dug up."
That sounds as good a place as any. I have to contend with all this other stuff here, so just let me know when you've got something.
Will do.
He says that you might check ship Souljack, and they're sort of. He thinks that they're the ones that have employed Weatherby, and they're the ones that are vying for like control over Luskin right now, because the five families kind of rule like a mafioso of pirates, and they're always like trying to one up one another within Luskin. So they're the ones that are currently. They think that whatever has sunk will be worth it to turn the tide, so to speak, within Luskin.
Well, don't you worry your pretty little head over this anymore. Me and the boys will take care of this for you.
As usual, I'll pay your standard fee.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. And Winifred, just like without another word, just turns and saunters back through the door. Um, she is going to take a moment, write a letter, or just scribble on a note, keep an eye out on Weatherby's place, and we can go. "Oh, Mono, would you be a dear and get this to one of the boys as soon as you can?"
Takes the note, and I'm assuming she knows what to do with it, so she just kind of shuffles off.
Uh, then I'll hop on Colt, who's not even tied to his watering hole, and well, let's go check out this said Soul Jack
That's right.
to the docks.
So you know that they keep a an enclave, so to speak, near the port. Like it's all a port city, but they tend to maintain control over the docks a little more heavily. And so you head that direction and approach their keep, if it can be called that. You see two guards that are standing outside, mostly drinking and pirating, carrying on, but they're still aware when you walk up, saunter up, canter up.
Um, I'm going to pull out because I'm assuming just because I'm so used to operating in this town, I have like pre-portioned guard bribe bags that just have like 5 GP in them, so I don't have to fish it out. I could just toss them inconsequential leather pouches. And I drop one in the table in front of each of the guards and goes, "Hello, boys."
They both kind of peer inside, and one of them pockets it pretty hastily and says, I it was time for my break anyhow, and he kind of rushes off to the side, busying himself, very obviously not looking in your direction. The other one says, we are supposed to be on high alert right now. There's a lot going on. Says I might be needing a second sack.
She pulls out a second sack and pauses before dropping it and goes, "Now, before I misplace this, um, have you heard anything about the ship you have in port, Souljack?"
Oh well, Captain Rethnor said that we're not supposed to talk about it, but there's an artifact of some power. We're not really certain. It's something from the host tower of the arcane, and we intercepted it.
Quite interesting. Well, you gentlemen have a good evening. And just
The
without another word, just starts clopping down the docks.
so you see what is, to be fair, a very large ship. It's called the Dagmare. You know it to be the seat of power. So you know if you're really walking into the lion's den here, you're just going right up to it.
I would like to roll a general perception check
Sure.
on the boat with
What do
my
you
one eye.
what are you trying to perceive about it? Like you see that everybody's a little shocked to see you just casually walking in, you know, but nobody moves to stop you so far.
Uh, Hold up, I've got my sheet here. Jesus Christ. Okay, so I got a 23 perception. Um, and basically just seeing if there's any unusual activity on the ship or if everything looks business as usual.
You notice, you seem to think that they are much more fortified than usual, rather than just a casual guard here or there. There is like regimented people throughout. Like they are on high alert. Like there's definitely some doings happening.
Then I am going to pat Colt and go, be a lamb, and wait back in an opportune spot to make haste.
All right, so you dismount and Colt wanders off down a little side dock area and just pretends to be horse-like.
The dread ability that just kind of like leaks down over uh, my outfit, so where all you really see is shadow and two red eyes. Um, and I think I'm gonna sneak aboard this year ship.
Okay, roll me some stealth.
Oh, I'd love to. That was the best of them. I mean it's only a 20.
Okay, so you have successfully walked straight down the dock without really being noticed. And as you're kind of, can you give me like a athletics or acrobatics check to kind of scale the ship?
Sure. Oh, let's see. Yeah, we're gonna go with acrobatics. Oh, that's just it's the first time I just do a straight roll. 26.
Great. So you nimbly are just, spider climbing all over this ship, still unnoticed, surprisingly, and you put your ear to one of the portholes and overhear some of the Rethnor family that the captain has in his quarters. They brought it up from the depths, and it radiated with arcane energy and scared the hell out of them.
Uh, all right. Um. Well, I believe that I part of me wants to put eyes on this. Part of me is just like, well, I have my information. There's this arcane thing. It's scaring the people that found it. And three ships have sunk. So I think it's safe to say that I have the location, the means, the motive, and now either I can let the pirate families take care of this or they'll let me steal it. Either way, I'm good with this. And I think I'm going to start backing away from the ship and trying to make my way back to go report.
What's your passive perception?
It's a very good question. 21.
Okay. Roll me a new stealth check on your exit.
Alrighty. You gotta wake up pretty early in the morning, past old Winifred. I'm just gonna bring this over real quick.
What are we looking at? Taking
That
10? Oh, the one on the left. I see.
yeah,
Okay.
the other big 2-digit number.
All right. Your trek back is uneventful.
Um, I'm just going to passively wave to Mona. Uh, still holding the same glass of whiskey I've had the entire time. It's just a little bit lower. Um, well, now I can. I'm starting to understand why you were so perturbed, and don't think you'll be resting any easier until we take care of some things.
He says, I try not to involve myself in whatever's going on. I just keep my head down for the most part. She says, I've had my fun, and you see where it got me. But he's still back there. If you have anything you need
Oh,
to discuss.
I had meant to like blow completely
Oh,
past
okay.
Mona,
I
like
thought you were
walk
talking
through
to
the
Mona.
wall.
Sorry.
No, that was.
You saw us talk, so I got you.
I
Okay.
just busted
yeah.
into his office.
Yeah, so he looks up. Obviously, he sets everything aside, and he's like, "Well, what have you got for me? Something juicy? What's going on?"
Well, according to some of the guards, uh, they have indeedly brought something powerful up from the deep. Upon further investigation, it's currently in the captain's quarters, and it's very arcane and very terrifying to them. So the fact that it's sat in your port for a couple of days and ships are sinking probably doesn't bode well for anybody involved.
He says, "You know what? You've done your part. I have somebody that might be better suited to the next stage." And he kind of slips a sheet of paper across the desk to you, and it's essentially a voucher for things that you require, and you're mostly dismissed. He starts to because you do a lot of telepathic communication, and he looks like he's thinking at someone.
I
So
mean,
he kind of just tunes out, and he doesn't even care that you're there any longer.
tip the hat and walk back out. Back outside. I had some other stuff I was planning on doing this afternoon. I've done enough drinking.
When you exit One Eye Jacks, you recognize, well, you hear just a spit in your general direction, and kind of a throaty, guttural, like, "Think you can walk into my place of business and walk out again?" And you know the voice to be Weatherby's. He's standing a little bit off to the side of the Batwing doors of One Eye Jax's.
You know, Weatherby, I'd just hate to be kicked out of one of my last favorite bars and be reduced to just stealing my whiskey from you whenever I want to drink.
Ain't talking about this place. Talking about the ship.
Well, technically, I never walked in the ship. I just kind of clung to the side there for a bit.
You always are one to try and be cute. Damn it, I about had enough of this. We're ending things.
I draw.
Well, he's already got his rifle on you, but that's fine. We're gonna see how this goes. Um, I guess we'll both attack for one round and then do an initiative thing if you'd like.
We both get a surprise round on each
Yeah,
other.
yeah. You both drew down. That's fine.
Uh, I'm gonna say that I'm using my handgun because trying to, which I can mechanically wise, but it doesn't feel smart to just try to spin with a long barrel right now.
That's fair. If he hadn't had his ready waiting on you out the door, he wouldn't be ready himself.
Yeah.
But I rolled real poorly, so I don't think a 14 hits you.
Nope, that one's not gonna quite make contact.
So it's up to you.
Does a 22 hit?
It does.
Oh, it's just one. That's 12 damage.
Oof. All right. So where do you aim? Are you doing center mass? Like what's the goal here?
With a quick draw and only doing 12, I would probably say I came up and across and probably like caught him up here.
Opposite shoulder. All right.
Yeah.
So he recoils from that. That's his gun firing shoulder. He's pretty upset. The kick off his rifle is going to be a pain. He says, "You know what? I'm not too big a man to know when I require a bit of an assistance." And he says, "Boys," and just from like around all of One-Eyed Jacks, it's just a bunch of that huge regiment of people that you saw at the docks are just ready and waiting, and they all just file out like stormtroopers, just ready, and they've got you under the gun,
My.
literally and figuratively.
Someone seems to be moving on up in the world, huh?
Once I get rid of you, won't be a lot in my way.
Many men and women better than you have tried. But I will do the thing where you're holding the pistol and then you just kind of let it slip
Sure.
the trigger guard around your
Down,
finger.
right? Just down like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wait, literally.
right. So he takes you back to a familiar location, right back onto the ship, right up into the captain's quarters. He kind of presents you in front of the ship captain and says, "You wanted something to test this out, didn't you?" Says, "Chucking stones ain't gonna get it done." And the captain kind of looks at you and looks at him and is like, "You know what? She probably won't be missed."
Y'all just keep telling yourselves that.
So they bring in Colt as well. Colt probably, I would guess, didn't really put up much of a fuss. I would imagine that he's loyal to you and will follow you wherever.
I mean,
Am I
we've
wrong?
we've been chatting inside my head this whole time.
Right, right, right.
Neither of us are sweating at all.
So we're not developing a plan or anything like that, right? Anything
I mean,
you ready to spring?
yeah, we know our general get out of dodge antics. We've been traveling together. Like this horse just doesn't like he's old, but he's not. Like all of the horse doctors I've taken him to can't understand it. Um Apparently something to do with the awakening process. Too rich for my blood.
Give him a youthful exuberance, right?
Yeah.
Right. So the captain addresses you both directly, as if you know he's not an idiot. Says, you were poking around where you don't belong." Says, sometimes you bite off more than you can chew. And he stands up from his desk and he saunters over and he yanks a curtain down from the side, and behind it is just a flat, like a weird portal that doesn't belong. You have no idea like what it's tied to. It looks just like a door without any hinges. It's just floating in midair there. Says, who'd like to go first?
Uh, I'm checking just a couple of things real quick.
Sure.
Um and I'm happy to retroactively roll for this, but could I have dropped a small note on the way to the docks as they were leading me along? Like either I can do like sleight of hand or something just to have tossed a note. onto the ground?
Yes, with a caveat. What do you want it to have accomplished or said?
Because I have already passed a note off to my crew to be on,
Mm-hmm.
like, to be looking at this boat and Weatherby.
Right.
Um, all the note says is burn
Oh, all right. Yeah, so
it. Because if this is my last ride, you know.
we'll go on without a retroactive roll. We'll say that there is a working contingency plan, right? That should he ever get the draw down on you, like in a matter such as this, that they know just to like shut it down. So he had all his stormtroopers grab you, and your boys are in action too.
Okay.
So you passively percept a lot of fighting going on. There's people shouting and stuff like that. The captain doesn't seem too upset. Boys will be boys, that sort of thing. He hasn't really taken to the fact that like there's actually some shit going down outside just yet.
Yeah, and I'll just be like, "Well, boys, it's been a fun ride, but I'm sure I'll be seeing you all soon." And I'll just motion, and we will freely walk into the portal. I have. They're going to burn this ship to the ground. I've got so many men. It's great.
That's a pretty good exit, I will
Yeah,
say.
I just casually walk into the portal.
You have that gut wrenching feeling, and you appear wherever our Grandmaster Dungeon Master decides momentarily.
Thunder crashes and rain falls over the dragon isles of the world known as Kryn. The storm rages through the dark of night, drowning out all sound and covering the movement of a group of hooded figures. They slink through the shadows toward a cavernous den. Inside the den, there is a large dragon, mostly blue with streaks of silver through his scales. The dragon seems to be bound in the center of a ritual circle surrounded by hooded figures chanting and swaying with incense burners hanging from their hands. One figure, wearing more ornate robes, inscribed with symbols of Nuitari the Devouring Dark, god of fell magics, the Ungod, stands at the head of the ritual, leading the chanters. The dragon stares up at this figure with impotent rage as it fails to break free of the gleaming shackles holding it to the ground. The tempo of the chant grows faster and faster, rising to a screeching crescendo as as the ritual leader screams a final word. Light encapsulates the dragon, burning after images into the eyes of all in the cavern. And as the light fades, the sounds of birds chirping come through the haze of sleep, waking a figure sleeping under a tree. A cat meows nearby, followed by a light tapping on the creature's face. The figure is large and bulky. A bugbear with yellowish green skin and red eyes blinks blearily as he wakes. You wake up in a field, leaning up with your back against a tree. It is early morning, birds are chirping, there is dew on the grass, and there is a cat on your chest pawing at your face, meowing loudly and incessantly.
What do you want, Catra? Like it.
It meows and swats at your face, and then goes over towards your bags where you keep all of your provisions.
Are you hungry?
It just stares at you and continues meowing.
I go and I
Occasionally
get
it
it some
swats
food.
at the bag.
Yeah.
As soon as you open the bag and food becomes visible, it pounces on your hand and begins trying to eat the food before you've even set it down.
Par for the course. I just go ahead and get it food and get them all situated before I worry about myself.
Gotcha. As you're eating your breakfast, you go over the details of the quest that has brought you here. putting aside the strangeness of the dream that you had before waking, you know that there's rumored to be a village nearby that where somebody has seen an identical amulet to the one that you wear around your neck.
Oh,
You've had the amulet for as long as you can remember, though all of your memories are a bit hazy. Uh, you never take the amulet off. It seems to be the one remaining remnant of your past that has led you across many, many different planes of existence, seeking the truth of.
yeah, so I'll definitely head toward the town and chase down this potential mate of my necklace.
All right. It's about a half day's walk to the west. Um, you picked up a quest from a adventurers guild as you began heading this way because there was a quest for the same village to locate a missing ring. Since you're searching for an amulet and there's a missing ring, stands to reason you might be able to find them both in the same place.
Yeah. So, who do I think could be in possession of either of these items?
Well, the rumor says that the necklace is something that they've seen with the mayor of the small village
Oh, okay.
wearing.
Sure. So,
Upon arrival at the village is deserted. There are signs of a struggle, lots of scuffs, some, small blood spatters here and there, but no bodies. Um,
interesting.
all of the livestock is gone. The the fields seem to have been trampled but not burned. Um, but it doesn't look like there's anything missing. Like, there's people's clothes are still on the line outside. Um, it doesn't look like material things were taken. It just looks like all the people are gone.
Seems like they left in a hurry. So, no visible signs of life then.
None on the main drag of the village, no.
I'll uh, kind of guardedly explore the town and see if I can see any signs of life or anything out of the ordinary besides what I've already noticed. Like any, was there a particular place where food or clothes were taken? Are there any bodies anywhere? That sort of
Uh,
thing.
so as you scout around the village looking for stuff, it looks like there are meals laid out on the table, some of which, aren't entirely cold yet.
Mm,
It doesn't look like this happened days or weeks ago. It looks like this happened minutes to hours before your arrival.
interesting. Let me see. How big is the town?
It's a small farming village.
Okay. So on the opposite side, does it look like there's like any kind of progression of things? Like, did they leave the opposite side of town or anything like that? Can I discern any of that?
Give me a survival check.
Sure. Well, that's poor. Um, 11.
So it looks like there were multiple points where scuffles broke out. But the one thing that stands out is that everywhere that there are scuffles, there are adult-sized footprints and small, almost child-sized footprints. And there are a lot more of the child-sized footprints than the larger footprints.
Potentially a goblin raid or something of that nature, maybe.
Potentially,
Do
yeah.
the small footprints look clawed, or do they look like they were shoed, or what?
They appear to be wearing shoes or boots of some sort.
Interesting. Those halflings have been getting rowdy. Um. Okay.
Um,
Well, I will try and seek out the mayor's abode if I can discern which one that might be. Does he have
there
a
does seem to be
potentially a larger house or anything like that?
yeah, there does seem to be a larger house in the middle of town.
Well, I'm not really here for the people. I was here for the items. So that was my line of inquiry, and I will proceed to the mayor's potentially abandoned house.
Alright. As you are approaching the mayor's house, uh, you actually hear the sounds of someone rustling about nearby. Um,
Okay.
an old man, haggard, bruised, scrapes and cuts on his face and arms, missing most of his teeth, whether due to age or violence, you're not entirely sure. He's got wispy patches of hair on his head, liver marks where age has just shown where his body is shutting down. Uh, and he just stumbles towards you, not really seeing you for the ferocious creature that you are. And he's just muttering to himself, "Damn goblins came! Goblins came and burned the farms and took my babies!" And then he just kind of continues along that vein as he stumbles past you in a daze.
Well, that answers that question. Um, I offer him aid. I approach him and I say, "Good sir, uh, what succor could I provide you? Obviously, you have been lucky to have survived the raid that you speak of."
He looks up at you and his eyes kind of focus in on you and he just starts shaking and he's like, "Big goblin! He's a big goblin!" And he promptly passes out.
I get that a lot. That's fair. Um, you just never should judge a book by its cover, guys. Like it's very upsetting, but I'm used to it. It's fine. I take him up in my arms and I approach the mayor's home and I attempt to enter after knocking. It's one of those like, and then I try and open the door because I don't really expect an answer.
There is no answer. The door swings open without issue.
All
It's not
right.
locked or anything.
Do I see anything of note when I enter?
So it's a big two-story house. The only two-story house in the village. You enter and you see that there is kind of an entry chamber. There's a chamber off to the left and to the right, and then there's a stairway leading up to the second floor in front of you.
So if they have like any kind of resting couch, day bed, that sort of thing, I want to find a place to comfortably lay down the old man.
There's a chair in this room. There's no doors in the rooms to the left and right, so you can see that the room to the left is like an audience room where people can come and like petition the mayor. So there is some seating in there.
All right, I'll try to prop him up as best I can and make him comfortable so he doesn't, just slouch over and collapse or anything. And I guess I will poke around in there initially and then start to just search the home.
So that room, there's not even a desk. It's just like there's a slightly raised platform with a chair on it that the mayor
Oh,
sits in,
okay.
and then
I
there's like
gotcha.
a long couch that the petitioners sit on while they talk to him.
I lay him on the couch. Gosh, I want him nice and comfy.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
So yeah, I thought he might have a desk or something in there. That's fine. So I will proceed to find his actual office or possibly even his bedroom where he might keep some valuables.
so his office is the room to the right of the entrance. There is a basic desk in there with a chair, and some shelves and stuff, but there doesn't seem to be anything particularly valuable there. There's, sheafs of parchment crammed into boxes and stuff like that on the shelves, but there's no drawers to the desk.
I want to like quickly peruse any of that stuff. I'll kind of glance over it, see if anything catches my attention. You know, thinking if it's like a invoice or any kind of shipping receiving stuff where they might have logged anything magical or special having come in. But otherwise, I'm just going to continue a physical search for the stuff.
There is, as you're looking through, you do see a document related to a number of missing persons.
Oh,
Um,
goblin related potentially.
Unknown according to the document, but during the transport of goods from a larger settlement to this one, uh, 4 out of 5 members of the crew that was delivering the goods vanished. One per night every night. And once the goods arrived in the village, a number of young folk vanished into thin air.
Well, that is good to know. If it comes to it, I could slay a goblin camp to find these items. I don't really want to. It's not really my forte or, my desire, but should it come to that, I'm prepared. Uh, I guess I'll move on to maybe the upstairs and see if there's anything special going on up there.
So the upstairs is a large open room, like a loft. It is the bedroom of the mayor uh, and his wife, and there is a dresser up against one of the walls that has a jewelry box on it.
Oh,
Other than that, there is a small case that seems to have a few scrolls of some sort. Whether they're magical or not, you don't know. Um,
well, I will detect magic and find that out.
there is a shit ton of magic emanating from the jewelry box, and there is one bit of magic coming from a scroll.
Well, I will grab both of those things up and stick the scroll in my haversack and for later reading and start to sort through the jewelry box.
You open the jewelry box, and there are 2 pieces of jewelry and a piece of paper.
What does the paper say?
It's folded up, and it's underneath the jewelry.
Okay. I will remove the 2 articles of jewelry. Is one a ring and one an amulet, I could hope?
Yes, one of them is an amulet that matches the one that you're wearing to an eerie degree. And the other is a ring made out of a strange black stone and set, instead of being set with a gem, it is actually set with a piece of white gold.
Really interesting. Okay. And I will stow these things as well and investigate the piece of paper.
Okay, the first thing that you learn is that neither of these objects can go into the bag of holding.
Okay. Not an issue. I can carry them with ease.
They just seem to bounce out of the opening of extraplanar bags.
Okay. Well, I have a normal bag as well, so
Okay.
again, not really a complication. But it is
And
interesting though.
you open the piece of paper up, and it says, and let me double check something. It says in 5 different languages, common, goblin, draconic, elven, and dwarven. Put the
Hopefully,
ring
I
on.
can. Interesting. Uh,
Uh,
I happen to be able to
there,
read it in every one of those languages, and
there's more text that seems to be scribbled out or burned away around it, but staggered throughout the the text on the paper in those 5 languages, it says, "Put the ring on."
mm,
There
what
is
kind
stuff
of
redacted both before and after each statement in each language.
interesting. I kind of take one last look around the room and I say, "Well, I got what I came for. Let's see where this takes me." And I slide the ring on my opposite hand. It isn't wearing any jewelry.
You immediately feel as though you are falling from a great height. Your sense of balance fades away entirely as you stumble and stagger around the room. As you eventually tip over and begin to fall onto your back, you never make contact with the ground. Instead, you find yourself floating in space somewhere. After what seems to be an indeterminate period of time, your feet come to rest on a surface. You look up, and what you see will be determined next time.
Thank you for everyone who stopped by to watch us tonight and listen to us tell some stories. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Have a good night.
You guys.